I feel the Spirit moving in me. I feel the Spirit moving in me.
Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Here we are continuing our summer series with this beautiful, inspiring booklet. If you haven't gotten a copy, there are some copies on the welcome table. It's full of wisdom. Today, let go and let God. It's one that we're quite familiar with because we talk about it. It's talked about in other rooms. The 12-step program looks at let go and let God a lot. And it's part of us living our abundance. Because we don't want to go through life dragging everything along with us. That would be exhausting. So, what I like to do is start off with what's written about it this day. Now, Reverend Sylvia Hayes, Unity Minister, she's at large. She speaks and writes a powerful book. And what she wrote today is really inspiring. She says, I am learning that when I'm in fear about any situation, I'm identifying as only human rather than as a powerful spiritual being with the will of God working for me. When in fear, I feel I have to work everything out by myself because no one else is going to help. Ever been there? Yeah. She goes on to say, back in the land of right-mindedness, I love the land of right-mindedness, I do not need to try to force resolutions in any situation. There are solutions, successes, and possibilities for good beyond what my mind can conceive in any and every circumstance. Let us rest in God as we do the work and the play before us. Now, quite simply, we are living life. Would you agree? We're living life. And as we live our life, we're going to experience a multitude of things. And there are things that happen in our life where we try to get it to work. Our kids, our grandkids, our parents, our bosses, our any situations in our life. And when we've tried hard enough to do it our way and it's not working, it's a good idea to let go and let God. This opens up a whole new path for us. Not that we don't have to do stuff. We still have to do what we have to do. But the solutions are far different than what we've been trying over and over again to get to work. Make sense? So we are opening ourselves to the possibility of letting go and letting God. And that can be returning to the land of right-mindedness. Reverend Marianne Williamson, a Unity minister, a great author. This is an excerpt from a powerful speech that she wrote for Nelson Mandela's inauguration speech. And in it, it has many inspirational passages, and I selected this. You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure about you. We were born to manifest the glory of God that is within us. Each of us has innate talents and skills, abilities. It's the reason we're here, to express God in the world. But we can't do it from that place of ego. We can't do it from a place of fear. And if the image of being a child of God doesn't quite resonate with you because it's been a while since I was a child, think of it as being an adult of God. A senior of God. In our spiritual maturity, we're awakening to our oneness with God. And that Christ consciousness is always available to inform us, to guide us, to heal us, to renew us. And it's no small matter. It's part of our journey, our life journey, to either just in our personality, doing whatever we do, and facing whatever we face, and spreading ourselves way too thin because we're so busy in everyone else's backyard. Because sometimes it's a little more comfortable for me to do your weeding rather than weeding my own yard, if you know what I mean. Let's wake up that we have everything we need to live this life in alignment with our individuality, our divinity in God. Not that we're God, that God working through us birth forth lavish abundance and opportunity. This is foundational in all Scripture. This is Isaiah chapter 58:11. The Lord will guide you continually. Satisfy your desire with good things. So what do you desire? What do you want? What would make today the best day of your life? If we can grasp those things and then ask God to guide us to that very desire, we don't need to know the how. Because God has skills. And it's in that the divine ideas inform us and give us what we need to step out in faith. Melody Beatty is a writer of great renown in the 12-step recovery field. She's written a wonderful book, Codependent No More, and other books. And her wisdom extends and has given inspiration and healing to many. Here she says, letting go helps us to live in a more peaceful state of mind and helps restore balance. It allows others to be responsible for themselves and for us to take our hands off of situations that don't belong to us. This frees us from unnecessary stress. So how do we remember to do that? Well, I have a tool I've used for years. I learned it many years ago. I imagine a hula hoop over my head. And I let the hula hoop drop to the ground. Everything inside that space of the hula hoop is my business. Everything outside the hula hoop is not my business. That means you and all your relatives and anyone you've ever met and anyone you're never even going to meet is none of my business. Now, that's pretty powerful if you're related to anybody. You mean that means I can't tell you what to do? We're going to do what we do. But if we want peace of mind, if we want balance, it's taking care of everything inside our hula hoop. And boy, my experience, I got plenty to do right here. And that gets me out of fixing anything at you. Now, that doesn't mean I can't be of service and share love and be in conversation. It's just I'm not responsible for any of your actions and what you do. It can be a load off of our minds. And this is very foundational to all the 12-step recovery programs. It doesn't matter what the addiction or the compulsion is. We admitted that something has taken power over us. And then we're carried to a power greater than ourselves. That's a letting go process. Oh, it's here. I don't know what to do. God, I give it to you. It's the foundational point in the golden key of Emmett Fox. Rather than focusing on the problem, focus on God. And the solutions come forward. The resolution, the awakening comes forward by simply letting go and letting God. Now, that doesn't mean that God's going to do all the work for us. That just means God's going to give us the direction to go for our highest good. Chop wood, carry water. Chop wood, carry water. Mary Manon Morrissey is a great New Thought minister, and she's inspired many by her writings and her speaking. She brings this very interesting point. Have you ever struggled to find work or love only to find them after you've given up? This is the paradox of letting go. Let go in order to achieve. Letting go is God's law. This is amazing. And I know that it's true. It's happened over and over again in my life. So anytime I've looked for a place to live, I use my great logical, analytical, and I see what's available, and I go make appointments. I go see all of those places. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Do I ever find it because I've worked hard to go find it? Never. But there's a point in my looking where I go, okay, I let go, I let you, God. And almost miraculously, the phone call rings, or someone will come by and say, oh, I know a place that you might be interested in. And it's happened over and over and over again. Do I remember when I moved that I don't need to go and search out everything first? No, I forget. There's so much that comes forward when we've let go of our expectation and our righteousness. There was a time in my life where I had a lot of broken relationships. And quite surprising, they all ended the same way. I wonder how that works. And after a few years of very good therapy, I worked through those issues. I came to love myself. I came to identify that I didn't have to withhold my anger because I was so afraid of conflict. And then after a couple months when I felt comfortable and loving, I'd just share a little bit of it. Doesn't work. It doesn't work. So I enroll in Matthew Fox's program for Institute of Culture and Creation Spirituality, get a master's in spirituality. And in it, there's a Wiccan Starhawk, there's a Lakota Sioux chief, there's yoga instructors and art therapists and psychologists and amazing professors, a whole fleet of ideas and wisdom. And my heart was lifted up. I became a sponge for new ideas. I was getting wiser. And I had let go of any looking for someone to share my life. I was just fine with me, myself, and I. I was in my hula hoop. And lo and behold, there's a big event, and they hire a videographer to come to tape the event, and there's lots of luminaries in the press, and I'm handing out press packets, and I'm on work study in school. And in walks the videographer. And I'm told that when the videographer arrives, make sure that all goes smooth. We want this documented, this big event. And I go out, and I meet Owen. And the second I see Owen, I know I'm going to spend the rest of my life with him. And I didn't even know him. And he had the same thought. And we talked 15 minutes that night. It was a busy night, big event. He handed me a business card. I was a student. I didn't have a business card. I showed some restraint. I didn't know this guy. So I called him the next morning. And we made a date, and we took a hike through the Sequoia Bayview Trail. There's redwood trees up the hills behind Berkeley and Oakland. It's beautiful. And we walked through the redwood trees, and we completely visioned. What have we always wanted to do? What's our biggest dreams? What have we not quite been able to achieve yet that we want to do? We didn't talk about what's our favorite color or what zodiac sign we are. Or we just visioned. And much of what we talked about has happened. Now, this is because I let go of doing it my way and allowed God to introduce a whole world of possibility. We are in a great place. We're alive. We have health. We are aging. And aging is not always the easy thing. I admit it. But we're alive. And we're open to identifying with this great consciousness that we call God. Love, the light that informs us. And whenever we let go and let God, it opens a world to us. Lao Tzu, a great mind, 6th century before Christ. And he says this: when I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. When I let go of what I am, I become what I might be. We don't always know what we're going to receive when we let go. But one thing for sure, we've created a space for something to happen. Because if we're holding on to it, there's a whole bunch of baggage around our hula hoop. We need to let go and embrace God. I have a tool that works for me, and that's a God box. Now, a God box can look any way you want. This is a koa wood box. It could be a shoe box. And simply when you get to a place where you've done all you can, you're willing to let go, write it on a piece of paper or take a photo of it. Open it up and put it in your God box and give it to God. It's a physical action of a ritual the ritual is of a spiritual transformation that's already taking place. And a God box is one way to do that. Our wonderful burning bowl ritual that we do at the end of the year is we write it down and we burn what we're ready to let go of. But the God box can be a way to, at any point, give it to God. Because God can take anything we give it. And then we experience balance, peace, wholeness, and maybe a little joy. Because God always has the highest ideas for us. So let's let go and let God. Thank you.
Step out on the water, release your faith. Every step is stronger. Step out on the water.